Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. This is Live and Learn. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, out of your busy life to listen to what I have to say, to watch my video. Really appreciate the support. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But before I get started, I do want to mention, as always, in the description of the video, you're going to get my Instagram and TikTok handle at Live to Learn Coaching. Now, this is where you can follow me for more content. It's also where you can reach out to me directly. If you have any questions, if you want me to discuss something on my channel, if you just want to say hi, that's the way to do it. At Live to Learn Coaching, same handle for TikTok and Instagram. Also in the description of the video, as always, 3 opportunities to financially support my channel. Thank you to those of you who have already taken your support to that level. Putting your money towards something that you support, something that you believe in, such as what I'm doing here, really means a lot. So I want to say thank you for that. Now let's get started. We're going to be into part 2 of our series. Last week we talked about part 1, the cleanup, right? Closet cleanup part 1. Sitting with my skeletons. Why am I calling the series Sitting with My Skeletons? It's a reference to a phrase that you may have heard before regarding skeletons in our closet. Everyone has skeletons in their closet. What does that mean? Everyone has a past. Everyone has things that they'd rather not discuss, things they'd rather not talk about, things that they would prefer to ignore and put away. So we store them in the back of our mind, or we do what we got to do to forget about them. And what the series is not intended for is for me to be hard on us for what we have or have not faced or decided to face yet. When it's all said and done, I think that there's always going to be one thing or another that we could have kind of gotten into a little bit more. We could have dealt with a little bit more. We could have faced more. And I'm not here to tell you what that should be in your life. I'm just here to share some of the things that have been helpful to me in my journey, especially over this last 30 days. Some of the changes that I've made in my life that are linked directly to what we're talking about. Now, we have things that we don't want to discuss. We have things that we don't want to deal with. The problem is, and see, it wouldn't be a problem if we could just forget about it and nothing happened. We can just forget about it, keep living our lives, and just ignore these things, whatever they are. Sometimes we're not even aware of what they are, and that's something we'll get into a little bit later. The problem is, those things don't actually go away. There's no separate compartment outside of our consciousness where we can put these events, these happenings, traumatic experiences, whatever they might be, whatever those skeletons might be in our closet. A lot of times they're not things that we want to recall if we don't have to. But the problem is there's no outer world place to put these things. Doesn't matter where we store them. It doesn't matter how much we ignore them. They remain with us. And so I titled this series Sitting with My Skeletons because that's literally what I'm having to do these days. I'm having to sit and face things and think about things and work through things that otherwise I'd rather not. So I want to leave you with something. And it's a statement that I came up with. Again, none of this is original. It's original the way that I say it. It's original the way it comes from my point of view. But this is all known information. I want to say this. Real relief is allowing ourselves to feel. Now, that's not always easy. It's not always welcomed. But real relief is allowing ourselves to feel. I'm listening to a book right now. It's an audio book. It's a great book. It's called We Can Do Hard Things. It's written by multiple authors. It's it's voiced by multiple individuals, most of them women. But the substance, the things that they're talking about, talk about personality, they talk about how we came to be the type of adults that we are, starting from childhood. Things that we've experienced, things that we've been through, things that have shaped us. Things that have shaped us more than we could even imagine, like so embedded in us. We don't even realize how difficult it is to walk these things back, to untangle these things. And that's why, one of the reasons why sitting with our skeletons, facing these things is important, in my opinion. But anyway, back to the book. I forgot what chapter it was. I just finished it not too long ago. She was talking, and she talks about how as adults, and even people that aren't adults, we like to do things to quote unquote take the edge off. You know, maybe you've heard that. I just need to take the edge off. It's been stressful. It's been tough. I need to take the edge off. I need a little bit of relief. I need to numb myself. I need to medicate myself. Self-medication can look like a lot of different things. Here's the problem. Now, let's talk about actual medication, right? Like ibuprofen, things like that. Thank God for it, first of all. let's be honest. Thank God for pain medication, right? Thank you, higher power, for the science behind these things. Because what a relief. Have you ever had a toothache and taken a pain reliever? What a relief. You've ever had a really bad pain, or you messed up your knee. I've messed up my knee before, and that 800 milligram ibuprofen comes in clutch. Helps me go to sleep. Medication plays a significant role in our lives, and I'm not knocking it at all. I don't want to have to deal with, some of it is excruciating, right? Sometimes we need something. But do we always need something? Do I always need something? And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Am I really feeling relief when I do the things that I do to drown out feeling and dealing with some of these skeletons, some of these things that are still impacting my world, some of these things that have a real subtle voice coming from my subconscious? Like I said, some of these things we're not even aware of, but they're taking place and they're having an effect on us day in and day out. So what I've come to realize is that real relief is allowing ourselves to feel pain, to feel anger, to feel irritable, having to deal with things. Have you ever been to that point where you were so used to covering these things, and now they're no longer covered, so now you're having to deal with them every day. You're having to deal with them at work. You're having to deal with them in your relationships, in your day-to-day. Because when I used to run to certain things to take that edge off, and I stopped, well, the edge is still there now. It's still there. But one of the things she says in the book, she says we shouldn't take that edge off. And when I heard her say that, I thought of it as a human being living this life, living this difficult life, this life of that has pain, that has regret, that has sadness. I'm hearing this. I'm hearing her say this. She says we shouldn't take the edge off, because that edge, that is the only way that we experience real life. That is really living. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. That is really living. And I started thinking, man, every time I try to numb these things, every time I numb these things, not try to, I'm not experiencing real life, which means I'm not appreciating the gift that I have. So it's important that we experience real relief. And real relief is allowing ourselves to feel. Now, we medicated for a reason. I medicate for a reason. So if I'm no longer medicating, I've got to do something else to deal with these things. Now the edge is there. I can't take it off. I've got to face it head on all the time now. This is where people like myself want to be helpful. This is where professionals, therapy, and confiding in a trusted individual in your life. And how grateful am I to have trusted individuals in my life that I can open up to. But anyway, we take it from there. We start there. We start by realizing that I'm not actually really feeling relief. Because real relief is allowing myself to feel all the things that I don't want to. And I understand why we don't want to. But if we take the edge off, we're not really living. We're not really experiencing life as it's meant to be experienced. And what benefits? What good comes from this? What will come from this? Now, like I said, I understand why we do this. I understand why we don't want to feel these things. I'd rather not. But I also don't want to go through a lifetime of not really living. So think about that. Real relief is allowing ourselves to feel. Let that sit with you. Let's keep cleaning this closet out. Let's keep sitting with our skeletons, facing them. Not being dishonest with ourselves, but really living. So, I hope this has been helpful. Hope it made sense. Share it with someone you think might benefit from it. And again, thanks for watching. Have a great one.